What if I told you there exists film evidence of a creature whose body proportions are not just unusual, but mathematically impossible for a human? Today, we're going to look at the hard numbers. No speculation, no emotion, just science and logic. And by the end, you'll see why the Patterson Gimlin film shows something no human skeleton can replicate. Image J here. This is a software you can use online to measure certain things. I'm going to be measuring this frame from the Patterson film. It's a pretty clear frame. You're able to see the feet right here. You can see all the limbs pretty easily. So I'm going to go ahead and measure using this straight line tool from the top of this foot to the bottom. I think we could agree that that's a rough estimate of what the foot length is, and then we'll come up here to analyze, click set scale. We're going to set this to 15 inches. The reason I'm setting this to 15 inches is because the footprints that were in the casts after this footage were filmed were 15 inches long, so we have a known foot length here that we can measure this creature by. So I hit 15 inches. We're going to click global. Okay. So now we have a scale that this right here is 15 inches. So anything we measure will be based on this scale. So let's take a measurement of the torso here, the arms, and the legs. So I'm going to start from the base of the neck here. So we can zoom in a little bit. Okay, there we go. We're going to measure from here. I would say this is about the base of the neck right here. We're going to come down to the base of the buttocks, which you can see kind of this dark area here. I'm guessing that's probably where the base is, roughly. Okay, it says that is 32 inches right here. Hold on. See right there at the top right, 32 inches. I'm going to write this down. Okay, so now that we got the length of 32 inches here, we're going to get the rough length of the arm here, starting at the top of the shoulder here. So let's start there, and let's bring it down. You can see the hand is bent back a little bit, and I'm guessing if it was stretched out, we could definitely say it would at least come down to here, if not more. So let's just set that here. That looks like 34.04 inches. Let me write this down. Okay, and we're gonna start at the legs now. And since you can kind of see that they're bent, starting from the base all the way down wouldn't give us a complete look at the length of the legs, so we're going to start here at the base of the buttocks, so about right here, and we're going to start our line, come down to the knee joint right here. That is 11 inches, so I'm going to write that down, 11.35, and we're going to add that to, just make sure I'm starting at the same spot. Right there. Drag it down. See right there, that's roughly 17 inches, 17.90. Okay, so now that we have all the measurements of this figure here, even if our measurements are slightly off on this 15 inches, we at least have a ratio of the torso to arms to legs that are all even. So it doesn't even matter if we have the inches correct, the ratios are the same, and the ratio is what really matters here. I have ChatGPT open here with a brand new chat, and I have my measurements here. You can see the torso is 32 inches, the arm was 34.04 inches, and the legs from the buttocks to the knee joint was 11.35, and from the knee joint down to the bottom of the foot was 17.90, and I added those together and got 29.27. You could do it yourself, you'd come out with the same thing. Okay, so we're gonna put these ratios into ChatGPT here. I'm not gonna mention anything about a Bigfoot or Sasquatch or anything. I'm just gonna put these ratios in. So I'm just gonna say, here are these hypothetical body proportions ratios. Torso, which is from the base of the neck to the base of the buttocks. We're going to put the measurements in here, 32 inches. Next we have the arm length, which was 34.04 inches. From the top of the shoulder to the fingertips. And lastly, we have our leg, which was 29.27 inches from the base of the buttocks to the bottom of the foot. Okay, so we gave it the ratios. I'm going to say, based on these proportional ratios, has there been any human on the planet with a height of minimum 5'7" to 7 feet tall? You guys can go watch some height estimates and you'll see every single one of them. Some of them say 5'7", even though it's leaned over. It would probably be around 6 feet tall, but I'm gonna say roughly 5'7" to 7 foot tall. So has there been any human on the planet with a height of 5'7" to 7 foot tall ever recorded in history with these proportions? Alright guys, here it is. This is the moment of truth. Let's see what happens. Good question, let's carefully break this down. You've given fixed proportional ratios, torso, arms, and legs, rather than absolute lengths. So, the best way to check whether these proportions have existed in real humans is to look at the anthropometric variation, the range of the torso to limb ratios documented in the populations. Step 1, check your ratios. Yep, we got 32 inches. Arm length right here, 34.04. We have our leg length, 29.27. That gives us relative proportions in percentage of total body segments you've listed. Here we go. The torso is 32%. The arm is 34%. And the leg is 30%. Note, in human anatomy, torsos are usually 32 to 35% of stature. Arms, 40 to 45% of stature, and legs, 45 to 50% of stature. Already, this model looks unusual. The legs are short compared to both the torso and the arms. They're going to compare with documented human variation. Average adult human legs are 45 to 50% of the height. Arms, 99 to 105% of the height. The torso is 32 to 35% of height. My model has only 30% of the total height. Extremely short relative to torso and arms. This is not a small difference. This is from 45 to 50% down to 30% of total height. Arm length is greater than leg length, which is rare in humans. Normally legs are longer than arms. Could this occur in a 5'7" to 7 foot human? At 5'7", it says that is unusually long relative to height. At 7 foot, it says the normal legs, which is 37 to 40, mine are 29, far too short. It took the arm, which is the shoulder to fingertip. Mine is 34, proportionally too long. Historical records, no scientifically documented human population or individual within the normal range, or even extreme cases like Robert Waldo show arms longer than the legs as a baseline proportion. Certain genetic conditions like these can cause disproportionate limbs. This genetic condition can cause shorter legs relative to torso, Marfan, which is very long arms relative to height, but the combination of long arms plus short legs with normal torso in your ratio has not been recorded as a typical or even extreme variation. Conclusion: based on current anthropometric records, there is no evidence of any humans in history at this height naturally exhibiting these proportions. The closest cases would be rare pathological conditions, dwarfism variants with short legs, or connective tissue disorders with long arms, but not in the exact balance ratios you've given. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to say, given the information I gave you, is it safe to say that these proportions do not even come close to the most extreme proportional cases, especially with the 5'7" to 7 foot height? Yes, it is safe to say that even in the most extreme documented proportional cases, the ratios you gave don't come close. So there you have it, guys. Put simply, no, these proportions do not match or even come close to anything documented in human anatomy, either average or extreme. This is the proof, you guys. We don't even need any other information. We don't need to know about the suit. We don't need to know about the footprints. We don't need to know any backstory. All we need to do is look at these simple proportions we have here of the Patterson figure. And you guys at home, you can go look at a different frame and get the exact same proportions that I got here. And if you guys at home are wondering if the camera can distort proportions at all, it can. It can distort it from 2 to 5% is what I found. But even with this 2 to 5% distortion, the proportions are still extremely different from human anatomy. So, there you have it. Skeptics can debate costumes, they can debate footprints, but they cannot debate bone ratios. Numbers don't lie, and the numbers prove that the Patterson film captured something real, something humans can't recreate.